Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to a live stream. Just probably a quick live stream tonight, honestly. Mumblewick. Mumblewick, I haven't seen you in here in a while, man. Mumblewick. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised Miami of Ohio lost. People psyched themselves out with Miami of Ohio. Overrated them because of their record. So they'll make the tournament, but they're really not that good. I was trying to warn people about them. U.S. lost to Italy. Yeah, Mark DeRosa is a horrible. I don't know why Mark DeRosa continues to be the honorary manager. He's literally a TV host at MLB Network. I don't get it, but yeah, the USA they need to win. They made it though. They made it into the tournament, and then they beat Canada. So we'll see if they end up winning or not. But there's all the Japan bullshit, Dominican Republic. History with medical issues. Depends what you mean by medical. I don't really think physical medical issues. There's been, although I don't know, I haven't really studied the lineage. Skeens is going tomorrow. They should be good tomorrow then. But these pitch counts with this, it's very soft. They put like a 65 pitch count on them. Yeah, Japan does have a strong team. I mean, that's why they won it in 2023. They've got Otani, they've got a few other MLB players, and then the Japanese league is pretty good itself. So did I see the clips with Jake Paul and Donald Trump? Yeah, what a weird crossover that was at the rally. Trump has had some rallies recently, so Jake Paul was with him, I guess, introducing him, and then Trump said he would endorse Jake Paul. I don't think Jake Paul is going to be running for anything, but Paxton going to be able to pull it off. Oh, in that runoff, from what I had seen, I don't think he is going to be able to beat Cornyn, just in terms of the history of how runoffs are. But I don't know. Maybe there were some polls that had him winning, but he needed to win without it going to a runoff. I think it's going to be harder for him to win now. But I don't know the exact recent updates on that race. Cuba fall before Iran. I don't think it's going to be a situation where we militarily attack Cuba. I think Cuba might try and negotiate something with the US because their economy has completely, and geographically they're also in a different part of the world. We've got a lot more control over Cuba just based on where they're located. So it's a different components, Cuba versus Iran. So I think there might be a diplomatic negotiation with Cuba, and they might have a leadership that maybe it's like a Venezuelan situation where it's almost a puppet leadership, or the leadership is more cordial with the US and they transition their economic style to more US centric, Western centric. I don't know if there'll be actually an operation with Cuba. I know they've been talking about doing something a little bit abstract, so it might be a little bit different than either Venezuela or Iran. It might be like some type of negotiation because they've really been hinting about that. I heard. If Akron loses, are they in over Miami of Ohio? No, Akron has to win their conference tournament. No, no, no. The Akron's not going to be. Actually, the funny thing is, man, the funny thing is, analytically, they're still better than Miami of Ohio, but the resume, Miami of Ohio would be in over Akron, even though Akron has a better analytical metrics. They've got better analytical numbers than Miami of Ohio, but Miami of Ohio has a better resume, significantly better resume than Akron because they only have one loss. So it becomes resume versus analytics. but Akron would not be in over Miami of Ohio. There's no way. Akron has to win the MAC. They're not giving us the SAVE Act. I don't know what they're doing. You know, the weird thing with the SAVE Act, and I don't really understand this from a Republican perspective, why would they add all this stuff to it? I don't get why they add all the stuff to the SAVE Act. It's such a slam dunk. Why would you muddle the legislation? Why would you muddle what could be passed with all this other stuff? And I get the other stuff is things that Republicans want passed, like the transgender surgery and everything like that. But, you know, if you have such a slam dunk, why would you not just make sure the voting legislation, the safeguards get passed for voting? That's really what I would try and do. But now they've got a list of like 5 different things they've attached to the SAVE Act to where it's not just the voting guardrails and what the liberals have now talked about, to where the SAVE Act is really about registration. It's not even about ballot access. We have to show your ID at the ballot box. To even register to vote, you have to prove you have an ID, which makes total sense. But that's mainly what it's about. No, I don't watch UFC. No, I don't think Netanyahu is dead. You know, they had that rumor about Biden a few years ago. I think it would be, if Netanyahu was actually dead, there would be something that permeated through an actual source. There's no real sources that are saying Netanyahu is dead. Something would get out. That was a clear AI photo of him. That was such a fake photo of him. So I don't think Netanyahu is dead. And now, even if Netanyahu shows his face, like they said, he had this he addressed people today, and they're like, oh, it's AI. So now, even when people show their faces, people are just going to be like, it's not real, it's fake. Texas is way overrated. Auburn beat them. Yeah, I don't really think Texas should be in, but I don't think Auburn should be in either. But it's like you got to pick one of these teams. So it depends. I mean, do you value record or overall schedule and quad one wins? And depends what you value. I mean, the teams on the bubble all have significant flaws. It's just which one is the least flawed, and the metric you care the most about basically is what it is. Yeah, it is. That photo is a. Oh, you're talking about his address looks AI. I don't know, man. Doesn't help that his son isn't tweeting he didn't show up for his latest military meeting, whatever you call. Yeah, I his son had been tweeting like 30 times a day, and then he stopped for 5 straight days. That is a bit strange. That at least signals some type of event happened. I don't know what it is. I mean, did Iran really get him with a missile? In that one video where people are saying he had 6 fingers, that was just the crease in his hand. Yeah, I saw that. It didn't really look like he had 6 fingers to me. And also, they wouldn't release it if it actually, the AI rendered 6 fingers. They've got much better AI than to release something that has him having 6 fingers. Come on. What's up, Solo Dolo? What's up, man? Housing in rural Ohio. Well, I think any rural place is going to be relatively cheap. How if you really want a cheap house, the South is cheap. The most cheap houses, cheaper than Ohio. Paxton or Cornyn. Paxton is better than Cornyn. Cornyn has a better chance against Tellerico. I think they probably both beat Tellerico, but Paxton, it would be really close. Cornyn would probably handily beat him, and it really wouldn't be much of a race. Or he'd at least win by like 5 or 6 points. Paxton, it'd probably be like how Beto O'Rourke performed, where he only lost by 2.5 to Ted Cruz. Miami of Ohio. They're going to be probably an 11 seed. Probably an 11 seed. I don't think they're going to be a 10 seed. You might pick Michigan to lose in the Sweet. Yeah, I would say don't overthink it. I know what you're saying. Like Michigan, they came back in against Wisconsin. They were really in control of the Ohio State game if you watched it, and that they were kind of rusty. I would say don't overthink Michigan. I mean, I'm not going to have Michigan win the national title. I'll be honest with you, man. But maybe a Final Four team. It just depends their draw. I mean, if they get a tough 2 seed, if they get Iowa State, then I might not pick Michigan to go to the Final Four, but it depends. It's a good team is Arkansas. I'm thinking about Arkansas to the Elite Eight. I think Arkansas is going to be a 4 seed, so maybe to the Elite Eight for them. Arizona to win the tournament, I'm still thinking. Duke probably to the Final Four. You don't want to overthink it. Florida, I might have them losing before the Final Four as well. Maybe Florida and Michigan lose before the Final Four. Florida is just such a horrifically bad three-point shooting team. I know they've been better in the second half of the year, but then they lose today to Vanderbilt. Could see Florida upset by an 8 seed, maybe Ohio State. Yeah, but it's just so hard to predict something like that, man, because if you pick a 1 seed to lose in the second round, bro, and you get it wrong, your bracket's like fucked. I mean, Ohio State's an interesting 8-9 seed that could have potential. I'm definitely going to pick Ohio State to beat whatever team they're facing in the first round, unless it's like Utah State. I think Ohio State will beat like whatever 9 seed they face. But then if Ohio State's either going to face, I believe they're either going to face Duke or honestly Arizona in the second round. I think that's probably who they're going to face because they're going to be paired with a 1 seed in the second round. Yeah, I did see Laura Loomer in India. Yeah, I don't know what she's doing there, but I guess for money. Myron is saying boots on the ground coming no later than end of April. Thoughts? I don't know about that, honestly. I don't know what they're going to do, man. Where did Vanderbilt come from? I mean, you give them credit. They've had a good season. I've kind of underrated them. I think I should probably take them more seriously as like at least a Sweet 16 team. But they'd have to get the right draw. They'd have to get the right draw. But I don't know. They might end up being a 4 seed now with that win that they just had. Purdue making the Final Four. I don't see it. I think picking a team like Purdue, and I understand the veteran guard play. I think you're just kind of overdoing it. Like, understand Purdue has been very non-impressive in the second half of the year. Decent Big Ten tournament, I guess, but non-impressive. I don't think, they also got Nebraska in the Big Ten tournament. Nebraska was an overrated team. So I think Purdue maybe a Sweet 16 team. They have the guard play, I guess, to go deeper, but with teams that play badly in the second half of the year, I'm definitely not gonna pick to the Final Four. It's just not worth it. How long does Pope last at Kentucky? Maybe another year. He's gonna get one more transfer class. I actually don't know what the fans in Kentucky are feeling, but these are inadequate teams. You would think by Kentucky standards. I mean, they're a 7 seed. They're probably gonna lose in the first round. Maybe they win one game. UConn, Michigan State both losing round of 32. Well, I mean, I could see either one of them losing that. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to predict it, but I don't really like either UConn. The 2 seeds to me outside of Houston are pretty weak. I mean, if Iowa State ends up a 2 seed, I think they're a strong 2 seed. I'd almost like Iowa State to stay at 3 because then I could have Iowa State in the Final Four as a 3, Duke as a 1, Arizona as a 1, and then maybe Houston as a 2. Although I don't know about Houston. I don't know about Houston this year. I don't think so actually with Houston. But I mean that's if they all get paired in different quadrants because Iowa State could get paired. Hopefully, Iowa State doesn't get paired with Arizona. It'll just be dependent on where Arizona ends up in terms of their final seed line. Like if they're the number one overall seed, I don't think they're going to be the number one overall seed. They're probably going to be the number two overall seed or three. But if Michigan and Duke both win their conference tournaments, they may be the number 3 1 seed. Because whoever gets, I think Iowa State is going to be the best 3 seed. If they end up a 3 seed, maybe they'll be bumped up. I don't know. Actually, they'll probably get bumped up because they've been taking more into account analytics now. UConn is getting destroyed. Yeah, against St. John's. I saw they were losing. I still don't really like St. John's, honestly. I don't like it. These Big East teams are going to get run out of the building in the tournament. The Big East is just not a good league this year. So I really wouldn't have St. John's going to the Elite Eight just because they beat UConn and they win the Big East tournament. They may win a game. I mean, they should win a game if they're a 5 seed or a 4 seed. Yeah, I was rooting for Ole Miss. They actually almost beat Arkansas. That would have been funny, man. They at least need to go to the NIT for that, bro. At least send them to the NIT after that run for Ole Miss. I give them credit. Somebody was saying they were going to be a 13 seed. I think they would have been a 12 seed if they would have won the SEC. Mog World Order. What's that? Nebraska looking bad first round upset. Yeah, I think everyone and their mom is going to pick against Nebraska. Because the thing is, the way I see it, man, is people want me to pick an upset. I've got to kind of pick one. And I already know Nebraska's not going to go far anyways, even if I get the upset wrong. It's not like Nebraska's going to be a Final Four team. So, Nebraska in a 3v14 game, I don't know who the 14 seed they'll face. Maybe a Troy. Maybe Northern Iowa. Actually, Northern Iowa is going to be a 13, but maybe a Hawaii, but Hawaii still has to win their conference. So I guess it'd be UC Irvine or Hawaii. But I think Nebraska as a first round loss is probably in the cards because I'm not going to have all the 1, 2, and 3 seeds advancing. I just can't do it. I have to pick some upset, some abstract upset. And then a 4v13 upset. I was going to say Virginia, but Virginia is actually playing a lot better, and maybe I needed to be more open-minded about them. You want the Twin Towers Lego set? Well, it's actually it's one singular Lego set that I bought twice. It's not a Lego set. It's you got to buy it on AliExpress. You got to buy it off of a Chinese seller. It's about $60. I could probably give you the link if you message me. You got to message me. I can give you the link to buy it if you want it. It's the instructions are online. They got to be downloaded as well. But you have to buy two of the same set, and then you'll have basically identical. And you don't put the antenna for one of them, obviously. Illinois are frauds. Yeah, I mean, I still think Illinois, because of the offense, they're going to make the Sweet 16. No more, though. So as a 2 seed, I think they're going to bow out in the Sweet 16. I mean, I'm trying to structure the bracket, and balance it. And I look at Illinois, maybe Elite 8 for them. It's hard. Just get the Final Four teams right. If you get this is the thing, is these noobs keep coming in here. They always do the same thing to me. They talk shit about my bracket after the first weekend or like the first 2 days. It doesn't even matter. As long as you have the Final Four teams, that's all that matters because the multiplier is so massive. And then if you have the national champion, you're going to finish in like the 99th percentile, honestly. Unless, because everyone's going to pick Duke or Michigan, if let's be honest. Whenever Duke's a 1 seed, they're always going to be the most picked team. Just because the popularity. And also, I mean, they are the best team right now. Although I think Arizona's got a better roster than Duke, and I honestly don't even think it's that close. That Duke can still beat Arizona, but pick Houston again. Yeah, I just think Houston's a level down from where they were the past 2 years. I don't think I can pick them again. I can't do it. I know I picked them the last 2 years, and honestly, it was more so I thought they were due, and also, I mean, they're a good team, and defense plays in March, but I don't think Houston is good enough this year. They're just not as good as they previously have been. I mean, I think they're a shoe in for the Sweet 16, although I don't know. One seed almost always wins in the champion. Yeah, I mean, but those everybody is gonna pick the same teams anyways, so those metrics are kind of like all anyone's gonna pick that's serious about the trying to get a good bracket is Duke, Michigan, Arizona, Florida. That's who everyone's gonna pick. Maybe a few people will pick Illinois, Iowa State. Outside of that, it's gonna be yeah. I'll be uploading my bracket probably by 9 o'clock. It'll be up, and this is something I do every year. Because what ESPN does is it takes like an extra. They'll release the bracket by like 7:30 or whatever. Then ESPN, you have to wait 30 minutes, and then at 8 o'clock, ESPN normally they allow you to start filling it out. So I'll be able to fill it out at 8 o'clock, and when I fill it out, obviously it's going to be in a video format, so it's going to take like an hour to upload or so because just how it is. I mean, I've already got the thumbnail and everything, but because the thumbnail takes like 30 minutes to do. It's the most extensive thumbnail I do every year with the amount of logos I have to put on. But I like making the thumbnail for these. Utah State, yeah, but I mean, if they're an 8 or a 9, I mean, as long as Utah State doesn't face Ohio State, I mean, the 8-9 games, I like Utah State to win against whoever they face. I like Ohio State to win against whoever they face. I like TCU, but TCU may face Ohio State. But I do like TCU to win. I think TCU is a really solid team that would be in the 8-9 area. Iowa, not so much. Maybe it would be Iowa versus TCU. I'd pick TCU probably. Would you pick to win? Who would you pick to win? Arizona plus Michigan or the rest of the tournament teams? I'd pick Arizona, Michigan. Well, I think Arizona's going to win, honestly, and I think they're the best bet to win because think about it. They probably have the most complete team. Yeah, maybe analytically they're not the best, but the Big 12 overall to me is a better conference than both the ACC and the Big 10. So Duke and Michigan have kind of ran up better analytics mainly because I think they play in an easier conference. Those road games in the Big 12 are really challenging. They're really challenging. And on top of that, I think you look at the rosters. I mean, Michigan's roster doesn't really wow me. I think with Arizona, they've got like 5 guys deep, all at different positions, and you have youth, you have vets. Duke to me is another roster. I mean, Duke's roster is worse than last year. Their roster is worse, and they probably should have won the national title last year, Duke. But they almost lost to FSU. I'm not saying Duke's not going to go far. Like I'll probably I may have them go to the Final Four, honestly. But at them against Arizona, I think Arizona would beat them. McNeese destroyed Stephen F. Austin, who, yeah, but I don't really. The 12s are tough. I think for the 12s, you've got Yale, who has to shoot really well from three to have a chance. And maybe they will. I mean, the Ivy always seems to pull off an upset once every like 6 years. So maybe the Ivy is due for an upset. I don't remember the last time the Ivy won a game. There's another 12. Well, actually, it looks like South Florida is going to be an 11. That's actually annoying that they moved South Florida to an 11. South Florida was going to be my 12 over 5. Now they're 11, really? How do you even move South Florida out of the American to an 11? How, that's got to be a fake story. Yale would be a good pick versus Texas Tech, who's struggling. Yeah, Texas Tech is dealing with the injury to Toppin, so they're not as good as their seed because of their injury. But huh, yeah, somebody asked me that. I don't even know what it is. MBTI personality type. Somebody asked me that. I was like, honey, I don't know what that is. I looked it up. I've already forgotten what it is, so I don't know what it is. INTP. Hmm. Usually one or two bubble teams go on a run in the tournament, but all of them this year lost like first or second round. You mean last year? Yeah. I mean, the thing is with the bubble teams, they get to an 11 seed, it's easier because you don't have to face you avoid a 1 or a 2. So that's why a lot of the bubble teams can face a 6 and then a 3. And sometimes the 3 loses to a 14, so they face a 14. Yeah, Ole Miss. I would have liked to have seen Ole Miss honestly make it. It would have been funny as a 13 seed. A 13 seed against a 4. Oh, that would have been good. They're like 4 games under 500. Pull up the Gypsy Crusader fight. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that, man. I heard about that. Sorry, you meant conference tournaments. Yeah, so who would really fit that? I mean, who even has gone on a run though? You're right. You're right. This year they've all lost. All because like Texas lost early. I mean, Cincinnati, I don't think is gonna make it. Indiana, I don't think is gonna make it. You got to pick 4 to 5 double-digit seeds to win at least. Last year was unusually chalky. Yeah, I mean it's but like a 10 seed beating a 7 is really not an upset. Even an 11 over a 6, I don't really think's a crazy upset. So yeah, you do need to pick lower seeds in some cases, but deep in the tournament, it's very hard to stay with a Cinderella because 9 times out of 10 you're going to be wrong. Florida back to back. It's so hard to do, man. I'm not going to pick Florida honestly, especially after their loss to Vanderbilt. Maybe it was just I was already not going to pick them and that reinforced it, but I mean, Florida, I think they at least probably got to go to the Elite Eight, though. But I don't know if I can have them into the Final Four. Ole Miss was a 15 seed. Yeah, in the SEC tournament, they were a 15 seed. I'm saying if they would have won the conference, they would have been a 13 seed in the actual March Madness because they would have had to made it. No, I don't think the Netanyahu thing was AI, honestly. But I mean, who really knows? Who knows at this point? But they would fake it. They would fake it better than that. Honestly, let's be real. Remember, they people thought Biden was dead, and so they do this stuff happens every now and then with leaders, and nowadays it's like even if you show the leader, people will just say, "Well, it's AI, so it doesn't matter." And I mean, I agree. The only smoking gun I think they have is the fact that his son, who was tweeting 30 times a day, has not tweeted in the last 5 days. So I don't know what that's about. Is that true? Would they tell people he died? Well, they would have to at a certain point. They would have. I mean, it would kill their morale probably, so they don't want to do it if that's true. There's a rumor his son is killed. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of rumors going around. We'll have to see with this. He has six fingers. I don't think he had six fingers in that video. It looked like he only had five to me. Iran, I don't know what's gonna happen with that. They need to end the war, I think. Hopefully. Hopefully they'll end it. Let's because it's bad for their administration. Arizona beat Houston by 3. Houston made a comeback if that's true. We got duped with Trump. Yeah, I mean they got to end that war, man. I don't really know. Let's talk about politics at this point. It's just hopefully they just end it really soon. That's all I can say. Really, I don't know what else to say about them. Wichita State after yeah, but Wichita State's gonna lose to South Florida. I mean, it'd be interesting if Wichita State beat South Florida. There's a throwback. Get Wichita State in the tournament. Now, I don't. Wichita State's not gonna beat South Florida. That's the problem with them. They beat Tulsa. Well, congrats to them. They won a semifinal game. Formula One canceled races. Well, I'm sure they did based on what's happening with Iran striking those Gulf states. Yeah, Wisconsin's been pretty good. Wisconsin hung in with Michigan. They've had an impressive run towards the end of the season. That's a team that you may that it may be worth picking them to the Sweet 16. That could be worth it. It's like I look at like Wisconsin, Arkansas. Those are teams that they're playing well. It might be worth looking at them to the Sweet 16. Maybe even Arkansas to the Elite Eight. Iran is the new Afghanistan. Well, I mean, I don't. They're not going to stay in. They're not going to stay in the war that long. There's not going to be. I don't even know. I I don't know what people want me to say. I mean, I don't know what the fuck they're going to do. I don't think there's going to be ground troops, but obviously, what does it matter? Just depends on what actually happens. Crypto update. I'm gonna be entering crypto. Well, I've been, but I'm gonna be buying crypto soon. Once I think the bottom is in, I'll buy. Mumblewick. Mumblewick, thank you for that. That's a good YouTube channel name, Mumblewick. It's like it's one of those auto-generated names for an Xbox Live gamer tag. My Xbox Live auto-generated name was Spaceman0123. Or did I name myself that or something? No, that was the auto-generated one. The war is going to go over a year with ground troops and more casualties. It's not a good. It's not good if that happens. Is Big Yahoo gone? I don't think so. I think that's an erroneous. I think there would be more of an update if he was actually dead. No, I don't care about any of those type of shows like the awards show. I'm not even gonna be able to watch it anyways. I wouldn't watch it, but I'm gonna be filling out brackets and stuff. So who's gonna run America if Bibi is gone? Well, they do have to replace Netanyahu because Israel has to try and repair their global image, and so they're just gonna throw everything on Netanyahu and they'll replace him with someone and try and repair some of their image. For that's a colossal mess for them trying to repair their image. USA versus Dominican Republic. Well, US has the better roster. That doesn't mean they're going to win. Dominican Republic does have a very good roster too. But I mean, these are one game samples. Like baseball is not meant to be a one game thing, but it's kind of fun, I guess. Is Wichita State good enough to make the field without winning the conference? No, no. No, they're not even close to good enough. They'd have to beat South Florida. They would definitely have to beat South Florida because how are they going to be an 11 seed? It's not. There's just no way. An 11 seed at large. That American conference is not good. You're not picking up very many quality wins in that conference. I heard that Skeens is pitching maybe tomorrow or whenever the game is.
Said I'd give it a 12 to a 15. Their army is gone. They're just about, look, their navy is gone. Their communications are gone. Their leaders are gone. Two sets of their leaders are gone. They're down to their third set. Their air force is wiped out entirely. Think of it. They have 32 ships. All 32 are at the bottom of the ocean. Other than that, they're doing very well, Coach.
Oh, this is an old clip. That was with Saban. Elizabeth Warren's daughter. Who's your sleeper of the tournament? Well, it depends what you mean by sleeper. Like double digit seed? I don't know. Double digit seed depends on where South Florida is. Depends. It'd have to be like 11 or a 12 seed. I guess or a 10 seed. But I'm trying to think of good bubble teams and it's a challenge. It's like any of the good bubble teams that graduated off of the bubble are going to be 8 seeds or 9 seeds. I don't know. I don't know why people keep talking about Jake Paul. I'm not sure. I don't know what he did. I just know he had the interview with Trump, but Wichita State fan, you're praying you beat. Yeah, if you beat South Florida, you'll be a 12 seed. I don't think you're going to beat South Florida. What is South Florida, like 10-point favorites in that game? Like, let's be real. They're probably like 8.5-point favorites. Duke is about to kill Virginia. Yeah. But how about that line? It's only 6.5. That was strange to me that line is only 6.5. I think that's got to be one of the easiest covers imaginable. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if that ends up coming to fruition. But I think Duke is going to very easily win. Quantum radar, China getting ahead. They say that about all the technology. China gets ahead on all technology. I don't know. Nobody really knows actually the technological advancements of the US versus China. It's like impossible to measure, honestly, because it's all guarded through classified intel. Does Akron need to win the MAC championship game for Miami of Ohio to make the tournament, or are they cooked regardless? No. Miami of Ohio is going to be in. They're going to be in. I can guarantee you they'll be in, unless there's something crazy that happens. Because look at bracket matrix, they've got Miami of Ohio in basically every tournament. But for like whether or not Akron wins, it's irrelevant. I mean, yes, if Akron wins, I guess it upgrades their win a little bit, but it's not going to upgrade it to a quad one, so it doesn't even matter. Like whether or not Akron wins, it's irrelevant for Miami of Ohio. They're already going to make it. If Akron loses, Akron doesn't make it. Akron has to win to make it. Yeah, I don't think Auburn. I don't think is going to be in. And a lot of people are getting mad about Auburn possibly making it because their record is like 16-15 or 17-15. Kansas is overrated. I don't think they're. I don't think really people expect them to do much in the tournament. With Peterson, the guard, it's just like a weird situation. I think people don't really think Kansas is going to go very far. Maybe like round of 32, Sweet 16 at the most. Yeah, they don't use RPI anymore. They use net, but it's like net is like more net favors a team like Auburn because it's based on strength, overall strength versus RPI. Max Crosby, I don't know. Did they say why he failed? I'm not even sure why he failed the physical, but yeah, the Bama Adebayo thing. I think a lot of the NBA players got to be salty about that. Look at what happened to that product. The NBA allows a undersized center whose career high is 41 points to score 83. That actually tarnishes the game. And you get all these NBA fans who try and swing it as like this monumental moment. They don't realize you have a undersized center who averages like 17 points a game, scoring 83 points. You don't think that tarnishes the game at all, really? Seriously, there's all this coat from these NBA fans. Ken Palm has Auburn strangely high. Not really. It's based off of. You got to understand what Ken Palm is. I mean, if Auburn loses close games to good teams on the road, you're not going to be punished for that. And they have a lot of games like that. If you lose close games to good teams, those analytics are not going to punish you. Chinese nationalists think World War III is coming. Well, they always think it's coming. And maybe one day they'll be right, but it's something everyone says. I think Arkansas, it's unlikely they make the Final Four, but I've seen worse teams make the Final Four than Arkansas. But who's their one seed? If they get Florida or Duke, I think that's a good one seed to get. If you get Michigan or Arizona, they're going to get shut down. I don't know. Michigan, I don't think they'd beat Michigan, but it's. I mean, Michigan's not a super team or anything like that. Let's be honest. Really, none of the teams are, even though their numbers are really good. Michigan is your national championship pick. I mean, I can't hate on it. I can't hate on if you pick Michigan to win the national title. It's a sound pick. It's gonna be a one seed, I would imagine. So all these one seeds are talented. It's just which one is the one that actually wins it. Thoughts on Utah Valley winning their conference tournament tonight in honor of Charlie Kirk? Yeah, I actually saw them. I said I remember that UVU. Yeah, so it is Utah Valley, and they're favorites to win their league. So we'll see. They're gonna be like a 13 seed if they win, I think. Trump is sending 2,500 Marines to that oil island. Dude, that's a fucking mess if that happens. Honestly, man, I think with Trump, it's like there's really only so much I can say. At a certain point, I can't really. It's just like not really something I can defend, you know? I mean, I would just like them to end it, whatever this. Like, we really need a Middle Eastern war with troops on the ground. And then all these right wing people are trying to talk themselves into it. It's like, bro. At a certain point, we have to say, all right, it's like, come on. Do you think that Florida will stay a one with Houston and UConn losing? Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, UConn had to win against St. John's if they want to move to a one. They're gonna stay. Florida's gonna stay a one. Who's gonna pass Florida with these teams losing? Houston losing, UConn losing. UConn's a guaranteed two. Houston's a guaranteed two. I think. I guess Michigan State probably is a two, although I might bump them down to a three. And then who was the final two that might get bumped down? Because I think Iowa State's gonna pass them. Illinois. Yeah, Illinois I think moves down to a three. Illinois moves down to a three. Iowa State moves up. Yeah, UConn might be a good pick to lose in the round of 32. You want an upset to an 8 or a 9, like an Ohio State. I'd have to look at their profile, but I could see Ohio State beating. Well, no, Ohio State, they're going to be a 2 seed, so they would face a 7 or a 10. So UConn's going to be a 2. Do you know what intelligence Trump had? Yeah, you've heard some of the stuff. It seemed like Netanyahu persuaded him to strike. I mean, all the stuff that's come out is just horrible. It's literally Israel just persuading Trump to strike while Trump is reluctantly doing so. And Vance has said, advise Trump not to do it. It's just like such a. But dude, the thing is honestly, at this point, it's whatever. But if this gets to a point where they actually do start a ground war, I mean, bro, like, what do you want me to say at that point? It's like how much leniency. But I mean, obviously, if they continue with the airstrikes and stuff, I mean, there's a way to argue it, but Vance is just trying to create goodwill towards himself. But dude, the thing is even if that's the case, he still looks bad. So I don't even think it's a good situation for Vance, even if he was against it. But I do think Vance was against the escalation because it was reported before it even happened that he was against it, and it was reported last year before they struck Fordo that he was against those strikes. Now, look, whether people want to believe that or not, isn't the earliest you can make brackets like 11 p.m. tomorrow? No. It's about 8 o'clock at night is the earliest. That's when ESPN opens up their tournament challenge is 8 o'clock Eastern. Because think about it, $5 Canadian, I'm gonna get drafted. No joke. Really? Yeah, 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock Eastern is when you can make brackets. That's on ESPN's tournament challenge. That's where I'm gonna fill out the bracket tomorrow, and then I'll upload it immediately. Probably by 9:30, if I had to guess, it'll be uploaded. My upload speed has been slower, due to a number of factors. So it's gonna be probably a 30-minute video or at least 25-minute video, which is good because I need the ad revenue. That's what I'm saying. I'm doing all these March Madness videos. I'd rather do these March Madness videos than talk about this political shit. I'm just sick of this. Yeah, I'll put the link for my tournament challenge in the description. So that'll be already created by the time the video comes up. The link will be in the description to join it. It'll be public. Someone may take my name and I'll have to make a different name because people do that sometimes with those things. I don't know why. Trump's 2 week war is turning into years like Ukraine. I mean, come on, dude. Really? It's turning into years. It literally has been 2 weeks. Now, I'm not trying to gaslight you and say, well, it's going to be over tomorrow, but there's like, what do I even say about it? There's nothing to really analyze other than like, hopefully it ends soon. What's the best conference? They're actually more balanced this year. It's the Big 12 probably. I think in terms of like top echelon teams. The Big 10 is decent, but I don't know about the Big 10 outside of Michigan. I mean, I guess, but it's like Illinois, Purdue, these like you look at I look at the combination of like Houston, Iowa State, Arizona. Yeah, dude, you got to stop with the propaganda. They want to nuke us. They can't nuke us. They don't have the capacity to do it. If Iran develops a nuke, they're going to nuke the United States. What do you think happens to their country? It's not even realistic, man. It's just bullshit fear-mongering to justify Middle East wars. Like, we got to really diagnose it and realize how dumb it is. And look, I was for disabling their nuclear program, but they did that last year. This is the major issue, man. This is the problem. Every conservative and their mother, and Charlie Kirk said this too, and maybe Kirk's take now would be different if he was alive. I don't know. But trust me, this was what everybody said. They said, we like that Trump did this. It was 2 days. There's 0 U.S. casualties. It's in, it's out, it's done. You significantly weaken their nuclear program. Now, if it was regime change, that would be different. That would be a clusterfuck, and we wouldn't want that. So now we're doing it, and now we have to change our tune and be like, no, actually, we support this, whatever the fuck this is. Like, this shit is just stupid, dude. Literally, all of us said the exact same thing. We said, well, they're not doing regime change, so it's fine. Because you blink and the war was over. And that's when all the dissident right-wing people said and overreacted and said, ooh, it's this big war that happened. And it was never really a war. The U.S. wasn't involved. You couldn't fearmonger it. But then this happens and it's like, nobody wants a fucking boots on the ground Middle East war. We don't care what Iran has. They supposedly disabled their nuclear program last year. They've destroyed their total capacity. I think Trump is prepping to end the war. That's why he keeps saying Iran has been defeated. They don't have any capacity. Their capacity's been taken out, apparently. So, I mean, that should be good enough. That's what Trump says. The war is everything Trump fought against. Well, it depends what he does. I mean, if it's boots on the ground, then I would agree with you. But I think we still have to wait on that one. I know, dude. But it's like, that's the thing. It's like, if we're just going to change our opinion, I mean, we should just be gerbils then. Like honestly, this is kind of, it's just ridiculous. Because all of us said the exact same thing last year. But now it's like, well, you got to change your opinion and say, no, this is actually good. I mean, technically, you could justify literally anything. I could justify anything for the administration if I wanted to. But it's like, at a certain point, you got to have some independent thought. What about the China angle? We are significantly impacting their oil imports. Yeah, but the thing is, even with China, it's only about 12% of their oil comes from Iran. So it's not, and that is a significant amount, but it's nothing insane. Because they say, well, 90% of the Iranian oil goes to China. But when you look at China as a country, it's not like 90% of the oil that China imports comes from Iran. It's just 12% to 15%. So it's not nearly as extreme as people say. What happened is Israel struck and the U.S. had to go along with it. Trump is looking for an off ramp, and Iran doesn't want to end the war. And honestly, man, I do understand your take, because you can think about it, and maybe we can say it's copium, but I mean, Trump keeps saying Iran has already been defeated. To me, that does signal he wants an off ramp. Why would he constantly be saying Iran has already been defeated if he doesn't want an off ramp? But I mean, are they trying for negotiations? Well, I mean, I wouldn't say anything about Trump losing supporters with this war. The war is 2 weeks old, so there has to be perspective. You have to have perspective, because it is kind of like last year when people said it was the worst thing in the world, and perspective. So I mean, you have to wait until see what happens in terms of the investment they make into it. I mean, it depends if they actually do put troops on the ground, which people are saying they might do for the Strait. The war weakens the U.S. in a Chinese-Taiwan war scenario. Well, the U.S. is going to support Taiwan. They're going to arm the fuck out of Taiwan against China. 2% of U.S. oil comes from the Middle East. Yeah, I mean, but that doesn't matter because oil is a global market, so the price will be significantly impacted. Hopefully, the price is, but it's if it's still hovering around $90 to $100, it's a significantly higher price than it was on average just a month ago, which is disappointing. But I mean, I guess they expected it. But hopefully, it doesn't balloon again like it did. They're gonna have to release some of the reserves if that happens. No, I don't think it's World War III. I don't think it's World War III. But how do you really even predict World War III? It's like, I mean, maybe because of this conflict is happening, it's slightly there's a higher chance. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think Bitcoin will drop down from 70. It'll eventually drop down. It's been holding for a few weeks, but do you want Iran to be able to have a chokehold on the oil? Anytime they get upset, they will do this now. What do you mean get upset? I mean, at a certain point, if Iran acts in a way that's irrational, other countries are going to get really angry. I mean, they can justify their actions because they're being bombed by two major countries. But if Iran really starts acting irrational, I think other countries will start getting very angry because it disrupts the entire price of global oil. So I don't know if Iran is really irrational because right again they could kind of justify it by the fact that they're getting attacked by two countries. If they were the ones to attack, I think it'd be a lot different. But of course, it is probably Israel. They're always the aggressive one, and then the U.S. comes in and they say it's preemptive strikes because Iran is going to strike or something. December until we pump. Yeah, but that's if that's correct. I mean, who knows if that's going to play out? I don't know. Glad it got into the workforce. Yeah, I don't know much about the workforce, honestly. I mean, I know a lot of kids have been bitching about it. No, I don't think World War III will start in the next couple of years. Definitely the Iran situation destabilizes things, especially with the fact that there's still a hot war in Europe. The fact that Russia and or China and Taiwan could be a thing in the near future. There's a lot of situations that are bubbling. That's why we need a ceasefire with this soon. But I don't think a regional war in the Middle East is going to cause it. I mean, I understand it is maybe more of a global war if you use the oil as an extension because it does affect everyone. But I don't think so. Can't claim WMD. They are claiming that. They're still claiming it because they say Iran still has enriched uranium. There was the thought of New York Times reported that they were going to do a ground operation with special forces to retrieve the uranium that they had hidden. And I don't even know how the fuck that's possible, honestly. Should we let Iran rebuild and then when they attack the US, we do what? Well, I mean, I think they would be really stupid to attack the US. Also, for them, I don't even know what rebuilding looks like at this point. I mean, they've been thoroughly decimated. But then the other thing is, you decimate them even more, they're just going to turn into a failed country. And then the nation building starts. Like these Middle Eastern countries, there's really no when you go into these situations. There's just not. Unless it's over really quickly. Do you think in the century? Yeah, I mean, the century, I think it'll happen. I know you don't want to say anything, but it is almost the century anniversary of World War II, 2039. I guess they're still 13 years away from that, but got an offer on CarMax for your car, 31,000. Damn. 6,000 miles. And I'm shocked you get that much for it if it's 3 years old and it's a used car. I guess because of the low mileage. Shapiro versus Megan Kelly beef. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Shapiro is going to be the biggest cheerleader for this because it weakens Iran, so it's not surprising to me. Cinderella this year. I don't know. I'm gonna have to see the bracket honestly. Like, what do you call a Cinderella? Like 13 and lower? Because I don't know about a 13 and lower, man. It's hard to pick a 13 and lower. Maybe South Florida, but I think South Florida is gonna be an 11. It's looking like. The supreme leader, the new Ayatollah. Yeah, there's been some rumors that the new one is dead. This is like the third one that's been killed apparently. So they're just gonna keep taking them out. Yeah, I don't know about 5,000 Marines, bruh. Holy. There can be thousands of Ayatollahs. Yeah, but at a certain point, there's a law of diminishing return. Like, what is the qualifications for some of these guys at a certain point? No, I sleep pretty. I sleep fine, honestly. Now I've been sleeping 8 9 hours. I've been feeling a little bit fatigued, but at least I get like a lot of sleep now. Yeah, I've never bought it. I've never bought a car honestly, but I have a pretty average car, so I don't know about that. Why are Democrats favorites to win the Senate? Because this war is deemed unpopular, and there's a lot of unknown. Once the war is over, the Republicans will go back to being the favorite in the Senate. Hillary Clinton, she's trying to cover her ass, so they have her do that. She's like, "See, look at how open she is with the deposition. It's a joke." Trying it's narrative control basically, that type of stuff. Ted Cruz is saying today criticizing Israel, our great ally during wartime, is treason. That's got to be a meme or something. That's got to be a joke. You feel bad for my hair? Can you upload more Titanic videos? I don't think I'm gonna be treated too well by the algorithm if I go back to the Titanic at this point, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Remember when you locked yourself in a room and scouted Marquette? That was a long session. That was a 36-hour session. U.S. Any scenario where the U.S. will sell tanks and Humvees to Iran? Hopefully not. I don't think so. I think the way Trump is talking, he wants to end it. Honestly, I mean, if he's already saying Iran has been defeated, he's trying to cue the public into saying we're going to end this. He's prepping the public. Westmore or Ossoff would be Marco or Vance, but they will put up new. You think West? I don't think Ossoff has any chance. That's like a soy bitch. It's not gonna have. Westmore may be a formidable opponent, but Moore might be deemed too moderate. I actually don't know a lot about Westmore, but yeah, I think they're probably gonna go with Newsom. It's still pretty early though. Bro, what are these comments tonight? Yeah, your grandma's a dumb boomer. I think Arkansas can make the Elite Eight. I think I'm going to pick them. That's the new meta. Let me just create the new meta right here. Arkansas to the Elite Eight, maybe the Final Four. You might be right, actually. Who's their one seed, though? Who's their one and their two seed? Because what is Arkansas? Four seed? There's been four seeds that have made the Final Four. But if they're with Arizona, I can't pick them to beat Arizona. I'm sorry. Hopefully Arizona doesn't get paired with Iowa State or Arkansas. That's what I hope. Those are two of the 2 to 3 to the 4 seeds I don't want to see. Japan is losing. Well, that'll end Otani's chances. The Otani hype finally dies. Oh man, the Otani hype in baseball is just insane with him being on the Dodgers. It's really chances on Ohio State sneaking into the Sweet 16. They're very low. They're low because they face a one seed in the second round. They did it to themselves. You know, Ohio State probably should be like a 6 seed or something. They lost too many games against bad teams, so now they're sitting at as an 8 or 9 seed. They face some slop 8-9 team. You know, who knows, like a Utah State. Then they have to face Duke in the second round. I think they're probably going to be in Duke's region if you look at like the way it works. I mean, Duke is not like this super team. Let's be real. Ohio State, honestly, they could beat Duke, but there's a low chance of it. There's just a low chance. I'm just being realistic. Like, it's just not worth blowing up your bracket over trying to pick a team like Ohio State. Let's be real. Do I still play COD? I kind of sometimes I play it in cycles. Like I play it for a few weeks, then I stop for a few months, then I play it for a few weeks. But dude, I just play Black Ops 1 and World War 2. So I don't really even play the new games. I think USA beats Dominican Republic. The USA needs to win the World Baseball Classic this year. They choked it away in 23. I never played Resident Evil. I get that question every stream. That's about the sixth stream I've gotten that question. What's your take on the Netanyahu stuff? I keep seeing more and more he's possible. Well, I honestly don't know. I don't think he's dead, though, because there'd probably be more leaks if he was. I mean, there are some really weird things with his son not tweeting anything in 5 days. You know, there's some weird stuff. And, you know, if he is dead, they're trying to conceal it because it'd be bad for morale, I guess, for Israel. But, you know, the way it is now, man, any type of rumor is just monetized to death on social media, on Twitter especially. Hofstra. Yeah, I don't really know much about them. They were like a 3 seed in their tournament. I don't know much about them, man. Oh, most of the stuff with Iran is fake. The Netanyahu photo is fake, where it shows him like getting bombed. I mean, like, have you seen that photo? It's like the aftermath of him getting bombed or something. They're trying to take him to a safe house or some shit. There's like all these guards surrounding him. It's really chaotic. Yeah, I mean, Iran is really not worth it for the United States, really at all. It's worth it for Israel, not for the U.S. But those are two different countries. Unfortunately, in the United States, we tend to get them confused. I'm just kidding, but Iran war is a disaster. Well, I wouldn't say it's a disaster. It depends how long it lasts, right? So let's not get overzealous, but let's just see how long it lasts. Wait until Cuba plays baseball for the U.S. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. They're not gonna take over Cuba like that, man. Like, it's just like they're not gonna take over Venezuela. They might be a puppet. They're not gonna join the U.S. Doesn't make sense. Cal Raleigh refusing to talk to teammates on other World Baseball. Probably just fun, competitive spirit. Yeah, every year we get one of these fake trolls that come in during March Madness. I swear, your grandmother passed out, and you decided to tweet in all caps. That's the most important thing. You had to let us know. Nope, Cal Raleigh lost. Hey, remember when you thought Cal Raleigh was gonna win? And I told you Aaron Judge was gonna win MVP. I mean, Aaron Judge is a beast. He is honestly better than Otani. Why are you so down on Virginia, the St. Tony Bennett? Well, they just profile as a team that's going to lose early. Bad conference, weak analytics. All right, maybe a little bit of better offense, but still not like a super great offense. They just profile as a team that's going to be overseeded. I mean, look, maybe Virginia goes on a run because, yeah, they have been playing better, but dude, people were obsessed with Raleigh because they said he was a catcher. He's going to win it. Like, just because he's a catcher. He was only a catcher for like 70% of the games, anyways. It wasn't even like he was the catcher the whole time. Your grandma has been shot. Let me tell the YouTube chat before. Because we needed to know before you went in to help because it helps. You have to put it into the ether. You have to put it into onto the internet before helping. I actually don't know what the MVP odds are. I think Raleigh was a one-hit wonder. There's no way he's going to repeat that season. I mean, Aaron Judge may not win it, but I don't even know who else can win it for the AL. They say Bobby Witt Jr. I don't know about him. The Royals are not good enough for him to win it. Does Kentucky go very far just by blue blood status alone? UNC went all the way as an 8 seed. No, 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 no. Bro, Kentucky lost to Oakland like 2 years ago as a 3 seed. No. You're not going to go just because you have blue blood status. There's a lot of blue blood teams that are like four. Look at Kansas. They're a 4 seed. Look at UCLA. They're like a. Well, UCLA is actually playing well. I think UCLA would be a good pick in an 8-9 game, although they might have moved up to a 7 seed. Grade the Trump administration on a scale of 1 to 10. It's like a 6, like a 6.3. Otani first at bat homer. Oh, come on, dude. I'm sick of hearing about it, bro. Is that true? I'm gonna grade 6.7. That would have been great. That would have been funny. How am I doing, Iron? I'm doing well. Oh wow, Otani went deep. Great. Just what we needed. Now it's gonna be 30 minutes of highlights on the single home run. Yeah, I mean Otani's a beast. I admit that. I admit that, but I think they over embellish, the pitching. He barely pitches, and people are acting like he's this ace that throws 200 innings. It's like he throws like one inning a year and then gets injured, and then they say he's a dual two-way player. Babe Ruth or Otani? Well, I mean, Babe Ruth was definitely better than Otani. I mean, you want to compare eras? It's hard to do that. Go look at Babe Ruth's numbers. I mean, it's not even close. Otani can barely have an OPS above 1,000. It's not even close. Come on. If you can barely have an OPS, his career OPS isn't even above 1,000, and you're trying to say he's the greatest player. Come on, bro. Let's stop with this. This is sad. If it ends up being Troy versus Nebraska, who you picking? What is that, a 3v14 matchup? Yeah, I might have to pick the Trojans on that one. Honestly, Troy may win that game. It's just it's an issue with Nebraska. But this is what I think about Nebraska. I can picture it. They win a game, they have like a huge celebration because it's their first win in the tournament, then they lose in the second round. I kind of picture that with Nebraska, but if I'm going to have to pick a 14 over a 3, I mean, how do I not pick Nebraska to lose? Because what are the other 3 seeds that are going to lose? Like, I forgot what time I started. Did I start at 7:30? I think I started at 8. God damn it. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. I'm going to end it there. I will see you later. Well, I think Trump said they already won the war. Trump said the U.S. won the war already, but I mean, look. Hopefully, it's over soon. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Arizona. Let me just get dibs on Arizona. Can I get dibs on Arizona? Nobody steal this from me. Yes, they're a 1 seed, but they're actually the 3rd most popular 1 seed. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys, I'll see you.